Here's how I cracked the code to online dating as a 5'6" man. All right, gentlemen, welcome to another installment of Short Guy Game. And in today's episode, I'll be breaking down exactly how you can go from being invisible on dating apps to genuinely feeling overwhelmed with the amount of matches flowing into your dating app inboxes, despite the fact you're short. So before I go any further, I need to clear the air because there's this big misconception going around that's honestly ridiculous. A lot of guys think that online dating, and some guys might even think dating in general, is completely off the table if you're below like 5'10" or 5'8". But this is just nonsense, guys, because as you can see, like I said, I don't have height going for me. Now, I know right here my bio says 5'7". So just like little pro tip before we get started with the video, you could literally pull out your Hinge or whatever dating app profile right now and implement this while you're watching this video. Whatever your height is in shoes, just add an extra inch to that and make that your height in your bio. Thank me later. But anyways, despite the fact I don't have height going for me, as you can see, I'm literally bombarded with more matches that I could even possibly take on a date this week. Like, this is literally what some girls' inboxes look like on dating apps. And this should just go to show that, like, even if you're short, like, you can still get this done. Like, this anything, this should just be motivation for you to realize, like, wow, like, if he's only 5'6" and he figured this out, there's no reason I can't either. But what I'll tell you is what I've learned over the past few years using online dating and going on a lot of dates is that women break the rules for guys they actually like. So really listen up here. Women break the rules for guys they actually like. So what I mean by that is when a woman is genuinely attracted to a man, all these little nitpicky rules that she's had in place for guys in the past, like, oh, you have to drive this car. Oh, I only date guys in the NFL. Oh, you have to make this much money. Oh, I only do dinner first dates. I don't kiss guys on the first date. Or you have to be this tall. It becomes irrelevant. You can toss it out the window. It doesn't matter anymore because she feels genuine burning desire to you. And what I'm going to teach you in this video is how to actually curate your self-image and your online dating app profiles to cater towards what women find attractive on a psychological and biological level, so that when she's swiping on your profile, she feels that type of way about you and you become the exception to all of her rules, including your height. So without further ado, let's go over who this guide is actually for. So if you feel like women don't desire you because you're not 6 feet tall, you're in the right spot. If you feel invisible to women in real life or on dating apps, this guide is for you. If you feel like you've been using online dating for months, if not years, without any real results to show for yourself, like you haven't gone on dates, you haven't been in a relationship yet, this video is for you. If you feel like the women you do attract are far below your standards, like, you know, there are 3, 4, maybe even 5 points below you on the look scale, like you'd kind of be embarrassed to be seen with these girls in public, or maybe you're just not compatible with them personality wise, or they're like 40, 50 pounds overweight, you're just not getting the quality of girls you feel like you deserve. We're going to fix that. If you are annoyed with constantly dealing with flaky, low interest women, you know, they take way too long to text you back, and when they do, the texts are dry. Maybe you get a date set up and then they flake on you the night before, or they're just making it very difficult for you to actually meet them face to face. This video is for you. And then lastly, if you are sick of constantly deleting and recreating dating app profiles every few months, you know, without any real results to show for yourself, like you're not attracting the kind of women you feel like you deserve, and you're not really going on dates, essentially stuck in what I like to call dating app purgatory, where you're just creating and deleting profiles every few weeks, you know, trying Tinder, trying Bumble, trying Hinge, going back to Tinder, going back to Bumble, back and forth, but you're just not getting dates out of it. We're going to fix that. You're in the right spot. So without further ado, let's get rocking and rolling. So here's what you can expect after running Short Guy Game. So women will literally start to ignore the fact you're short. Like, it used to be that I thought the height was the thing that was stopping me, but the truth was I just didn't have a very attractive physical presence, nor was my dating app presentation very attractive. Because even when I leveled up my looks, I still wasn't getting like the kind of matches I wanted right away. And what I learned is I wasn't actually catering my pictures and profile to what women find attractive biologically and psychologically. And once you do that, once your pictures are actually catered to what women want, you're literally going to be bombarded with more matches than you've ever received in your life. Women are going to be messaging you first. They're going to be liking you. They're going to be sending you roses, super likes. It's just going to be a whole different process than you've ever experienced before in your life. Also, you're no longer going to have to feel the need to chase women. You're actually going to be in a position where you can pick and choose who you want to go out with rather than settling for what you can get, which is only going to make you more attractive to these girls because you're no longer coming from a point of neediness or desperation. When you're on a date, you're thinking, yeah, she's cute. Yeah, she's my type. But like, how is she going to provide value to the relationship too? Almost as if you're holding frame and you're vetting her, which again is only going to make you perceived as more masculine and more confident, which is going to allow her to fall into her feminine frame and ultimately be highly, highly attracted to you. Also, like I said, you're going to be able to attract higher quality women that not only are your type, but you actually feel compatible with. Like when you go on dates with these girls, they're going to hug you very tightly. They're going to be excited to meet you. They're actually going to reciprocate and engage in the conversation. They're even going to try and like plan second dates with you after the date, or maybe even while you're meeting her face to face. And it's all because you've curated an attractive presentation, both on your looks and then also your dating app presentation. Because I'm telling you, your profile is going to stand out amongst all the other profiles she's swiping on, which is why you're all of a sudden going to be treated like a king, unlike you ever have been in the past. Next, if you want to have the option to go on multiple dates a week, so again, you can actually evaluate what you value in a relationship, because you can have an idea of what you want in a relationship or in a partner, but you really don't know till you've gone on a lot of dates. So, having the option to go on a lot of dates is really going to help with that. But it's also nice, not having to stress about how you're going to get your next date, thinking like, oh, am I going to have to cold approach 20 girls at the mall? Am I going to have to go to the bar and club? Am I going to have to like awkwardly ruin the dynamic of my friend group by asking that girl out, but then she friend zones me? Like, no, you'll just be able to sit in the comfort of your own room in bed, swipe on a dating app, and girls are just landing in your inbox left and right, right? You're going to have to put the bare minimum effort into dating, which will be really, really nice, not having to stress about how you're going to get your next date. And then lastly, if you want to completely eliminate any ounce of insecurity around your height, you're in the right spot. Because I'll tell you this, like once you start seeing the results in real time, once you start seeing the quality of girls you're attracting, the way they're treating you, the way they're messaging you, the way your dates are going, the way you're getting choosing signals in person, you're not even going to realize you're short anymore. Like whenever I walk into a room, because like I'm pretty short, man, I'm only 5'6". A lot of guys are taller than me. And it doesn't even faze me. I don't even notice it. I don't even pay attention to it. The only time I'm actually like consciously aware of my height is when I'm filming these videos for you guys on YouTube. But other than that, like I don't even care because I know women, highly desire me, right? I've gone out with my friends and women have approached me over all my friends who are 6 feet tall, which just goes to show that height really isn't that big of a deal. But anyways, now that we've gotten that all out of the way, that's what you can expect after running Short Guy Game. We need to debunk some self-limiting beliefs and some misconceptions. So first thing you need to understand is that online dating has taken storm. But there's also kind of like a weird notion attached to dating apps. A lot of guys think they're too good for dating apps or that they're weird or that only the wrong kind of women are on there. But this is just completely false. No one's too good for dating apps. In fact, as you can see from this stat, more and more couples are meeting online nowadays, like significantly. In fact, I recently saw another study that showed that 50 to 60% of couples nowadays, since 2024, are literally meeting online, right? So you might think like, oh, no, that's not the case. Like, only bad girls are on there, but that's not true. The stats show you otherwise. And in fact, I'll tell you this, like that cute girl that you saw on the street or at the mall or wherever that you were too afraid to approach, she's on dating apps. She has a Hinge account, or maybe she has a Bumble account, or maybe if she just doesn't have any dating app profiles, you know what she does have? Instagram. She has an Instagram, and Instagram is a dating app now, right? I don't know if you've ever seen a girl's inbox on Instagram, but whenever she posts on her story, especially if she posts like a thirst trap or even just a selfie or even just a picture of her dog, she's getting a dozen dudes in her inbox hitting her up, right? It's a dating app, right? So whether you like it or not, you should be happy that online dating is the norm, because think about it like this, yeah, you can meet women through cold approach. Yeah, you can go to bars and clubs. Yeah, you can do social circle. You can hit on coworkers. But there's so many variables that go into that. Like you have to have game, you have to be good looking, you got to be smooth, witty. Then you got to, bet on the fact you have to literally gamble on the fact that these people are single in the first place, right? Just because they're single doesn't mean that they're actually attracted to you, right? So then you have to have a good mouthpiece, right? Then you got to get their number, hope that they text you back, hope that they show up on the date. It's just a lot of work that could end up, resulting into nothing, right? Whereas on a dating app, you're literally in an environment where all the girls on there are single and looking to go out on dates. Like it doesn't get any more efficient than that. You know what to expect. All you have to do is curate your profile in a way to where they want to go out with you, and then the rest is history. Everything else should be a supplement to your dating life. Online dating is the foundation. Cold approach, social circle, and all that other stuff is just a supplement to your already, good online dating process. Now, the next thing we need to address is the whole height filters thing. So a lot of guys freak out about dating apps because they think that, women have access to height filters and that's why they're invisible on dating apps. Because there was this study right here that showed, I think it's like 60% of women have their height filters set to 6 feet and above on dating apps. But I'm here to tell you that's not why you're invisible on the algorithm. It's not because of the height filters. In fact, if you actually knew anything about women, which clearly you don't, which is fine, you're in the right spot. I'm here to help you. In order to actually have access to the height filters on dating apps, you actually have to pay for the premium service. And again, if you knew anything about women, they're not paying for the premium service because they literally don't need to. These girls get 100 matches a week. Some even get 100 a day, right? So it would actually be a waste of money for them to pay for the premium service just so they can filter people out by height, right? And the few women that actually do have access to the height filters, I mean, based off what I've already told you, that should like subconsciously tell you like, oh wait, those are probably not the women I'd want to go out with anyways. Because if they're a woman and they had to pay for the premium service, they're probably not that attractive, right? But if you're still like, I'm not seeing any hot girls on my feed, I'm not matching with any hot girls, I'm clearly, being filtered out. No, you're not. No, you're not. What's happened is because your presentation online isn't very attractive, your ELO score has gone down. So what happens is you have a ranking on all the different dating apps. It's called like the ELO score, which is basically, where you rank amongst all the other profiles you're competing against. And as you constantly get swiped no on, girls unmatched with you, or they don't respond to your text, that slowly starts to lower your ELO score. So after this long period of time of just, getting swiped no on, your ELO score has just gone down the gutter. And you're pretty much invisible on dating apps because of that. When you send a like, it's not even prioritized. She doesn't even see your like. She doesn't see you on the algorithm because you're not prioritized because your ELO score is lower. So we have to work on actually raising that ELO score so you can start to be visible again on the algorithm. You're starting going to be on the top of the stack. When you send likes, they're going to be prioritized, right? And the way we're going to do that is by curating your online presentation to what women find attractive, right? Catering toward that female gaze, not just throwing random stuff on our profile and hoping it works, right? So understand, it's not because of the height filters, it's because your profile sucks and you've lowered your ELO score on the algorithm. But some other lies and mistakes that are costing you matches that we need to go over is a lot of guys like to cope and say like, oh, women have unrealistic standards. This is cope, this isn't true. Again, this just literally boils down to the fact that you do not have a good dating app profile. Your photos aren't good. Even if you're good looking, like that's still not going to be good enough, right? You have to actually make sure your photos are catered towards what women find attractive. Another mistake is, like I said, guys will just throw random photos on their dating app profile and expect women to fall into their lap and get no results, and then they're frustrated and blame the women. But the other side of the coin is the guys who go all out. They see videos like this and they think, oh, okay, I need to book a photo shoot. And yeah, that works for some guys. Some guys get really, really good results from doing the whole dating app photo shoot thing. But here's what I'll tell you. That only really works for a few subset of guys, right? And if you've noticed, a lot of those guys are actually like male models on the side. But for the average Joe, it really doesn't work, right? It just looks too try hard. And when a woman's swiping on that, she's honestly thinking, like, did this guy get like a photo shoot done for his dating app? Like, that's kind of cringe. And it just kind of gives her the ick, right? And the problem with it is, I've seen it all the time because I'm a dating coach guys DM me their profiles all the time. And I've had guys reach out to me telling me they've paid photographers in Miami. They've flown across state to book photo shoots with these photographers, paid them $2-3 grand to get a photo shoot done. And they're still not getting dates. They're still not getting matches, right? They're still invisible on dating apps. And it's because these photos, they look too try hard. But also the problem is, just because you get a photo shoot doesn't mean you're guaranteed matches. Like, even if you're good looking, if you don't know how to pose in these photos, if you're not wearing the right outfits, it's going to just look off. Or the other part is, guys will get these photo shoots done and it looks way too superficial. Like, they're stepping out of a private jet. They're holding a dog that's not theirs. They're sitting on a balcony in Miami playing a guitar that's not even theirs. Like, the woman's swiping on that and she knows that's not your lifestyle. She knows you're not that kind of guy, especially since she's seen other profiles with the exact same profile setup, right? So you don't want to get professional photo shoots. Maybe you get like 1 or 2 professional photos on your profile, but you don't want to overdo it. The next mistake, or honestly just lie that guys tell themselves to make themselves feel better, is that Match Group is preying on insecure men. And there is some level of truth to that because, again, at the end of the day, it's a corporation, it's a business, so they have to make money. But I'm here to tell you, like, it's really not as bad as guys make it out to be. Like I said, I'm 5'6". I get about 100 matches a month on Hinge, which should just go to show, like, it's not the algorithm. It's more of just how you've presented yourself online. And guys will spend all this money buying all the different, like, premium services like HingeX and Tinder Gold and paying for Boost and paying for roses and super likes and all this and still not get any results. And here's what I'll tell you about that. It's not that that stuff doesn't work. That stuff is a supplement to a profile that's already good, right? If your profile's good, that stuff's only going to enhance your results. But if you don't even have a good profile in the first place, it's just going to be a waste of money and you're just going to get the same results. No matches, no dates, right? So the next mistake or lie that guys believe is that they need to text women for days, if not weeks on end, before going on a date. And I'm here to tell you, like, you don't need to send more than 5 messages to a girl on a dating app before exchanging numbers and setting up a date. The reason it's so hard for you to get these girls to go on a date is because, again, your profile isn't very attractive. So she's already skeptical about you when she matches with you. She doesn't know if you're going to kidnap her, if you're like a human trafficker, or if you're like, you know, just some weirdo, right? She wants to actually know she's going out with a real person, and your profile doesn't really display that. But also, it's just not catered towards the female gaze. Because, like, I'll tell you this, man, a lot of girls message me first. A lot of girls choose up on me, and it makes it very easy for me to actually set the date, right? I'm telling you, you just need to be straight to the point. The reason you're not getting dates is because you text these girls for too long, but also your profile just isn't optimized to actually be a proper lead magnet to funnel these girls into your iMessages to actually get them on a date. The next lie guys believe is that they're shadow banned. Again, your profile just sucks. Your ELO ranking has gone down the gutter because you've been swiped no on way too many times, but that's fine. We're going to fix that. It looks like I put that thing on there, text women. Okay, I already said that. You have to pay for the premium boost. I already covered that. Okay, the next lie that guys tell themselves is just taking good photos will do the work for them. And that's partly true. Once you get good photos, you'll definitely start to get better matches. But if you really want to experience like the inbound attraction that I teach, where you're getting inundated with more matches than you could possibly imagine, and they're messaging you first and they're very, very attractive, you have to actually cater your profile towards what women find attractive on a biological and psychological level. But with all that said, let's go over the new way of doing things. Short guy game. So short guy game really just boils down to playing with the cards we are dealt to eliminate any and all insecurities around your height. So essentially the analogy I'd like to give is you have 2 paths you can take as a shorter man. A lot of shorter guys, they like to play the victim and whine and complain and say, oh, I'm short, there's nothing I can do about this. But then there's guys like me and the students I've worked with one-on-one who double down and decide to play with the cards we were dealt, right? We bet on ourselves. Instead of playing the victim, we look at ourselves objectively in the mirror and see how we can improve ourselves as a man, right? Because when you blame outside circumstances, you know, now everything that's outside of your control that you believe is holding you back is now the puppet master of your life, which makes it impossible to actually move the needle forward and progress and be in the position you want to be in. So once you actually be self-critical with yourself, accept fault for your problems, and actually, you know, take the initiative to play with the cards you were dealt and make the absolute most of it, you'll start to attract higher quality women. You'll actually have a consistent, streamlined dating funnel to where you can consistently go on dates every single week. And then lastly, you'll be able to operate from a point of abundance instead of chasing women, and which is only going to allow you to focus on more important things like your career, that business you have, going to the gym, spending time with friends and family, right? You're no longer in this position where you're chasing women all day long trying to get a date, which ultimately, let's be real, isn't perceived as very attractive. It just comes across as needy and desperate, which is why you're struggling in the first place. But once you establish this new method I'm talking about, short guy game, everything's going to change. Dating is going to be a walk in the park. It's going to be something that's just put on the back burner. And like I said, you can focus on more important things. You're no longer going to have to stress about how you're getting your next date. You're no longer going to have to stress about attracting women that you feel like are below your standard, because all of a sudden, more attractive and higher quality women are going to be choosing up on you. So with all that said, let me break down short guy game and give you the high level overview. So this is broken down into 4 phases. So phase 1 is going to be a dating strategy audit, where we're going to break down exactly how you've been going about dating as far as mindset, what you're saying to these women, the kind of women you're talking to, where you want, the kind of women you want to attract, and how many dates you're getting per week. And then we're going to actually game plan how we can optimize things to go from, not really being happy where you're at to being in that position you ultimately want to be in. Phase 2 is going to be the female fantasy framework, where we actually optimize and curate our self-image to be more attractive to women, getting the right haircut, dropping body fat, getting in shape, building the aesthetic body, and then dressing and optimizing our grooming to actually curate more towards what women find attractive. Phase 3 is going to be the online inbound attraction system, where we are now packaging our new look and mindset together on a dating app profile with nice photos to actually start reeling in these girls into our inboxes so we can start filtering out who we're going to take on a date. And then phase 4 is where we're actually going to convert these matches into dates so we can meet these girls face to face. So with all that said, let me break down phase 1, dating strategy audit. So what you need to understand is there's probably a lot of girls on your phone, on your dating app inboxes, maybe that you follow on Instagram, that you're never going to go out with. You're never going to meet these girls, right? But you're still texting them, you're still reaching out to them, but they're not giving you the time of day. They ghost you, you triple text them, they unmatch you, they unfollow you, but you're still chasing after these girls. From here on out, we're done with those girls. We're deleting them, block them, delete their numbers, unfollow them, unmatch them, do what you got to do. We got to clean up everything. We're auditing it, because the number one rule I follow is we want to go where we're appreciated. We only want to date girls that actually like us. We don't want to go for low and medium interest women. We want high interest women, because we know these girls are actually attracted to us and they're going to make for much better dates. We're not going to have to play games. A big reason why guys have low confidence around women and dating and just, hold a negative connotation towards dating in general is because their whole life they've been chasing girls that don't even like them, right? It's kind of like in sales. Like if you're just calling all these leads that had no intention of buying your product in the first place, you're going to be wasting your time. You're spinning your wheels. Same thing goes with women. If you're just chasing girls that don't even like you, you're just going to end up, reaching burnout and feeling, negative emotions towards dating and women and carry this type of resentment. And once you resent women, you're never going to be able to attract them. So if you're in this spot where you feel like you hate women, we got to fix that, right? Because that's not an attractive mindset to have when it comes to dealing with girls. Next, now I kind of already went over this early in the presentation, but cold approach, bars, clubs, social circle, and any other ways of meeting women are now a supplement to your online dating strategy. Because like I said, you're never going to be able to deal with as much volume, using online dating. Like you can literally get a dozen matches in a day. Like you'd be lucky to even get a dozen phone numbers in one day, cold approaching or going to a bar and club. Like that's just not going to happen, right? So you're always going to have more numbers to work with. And like you probably know, dating is a numbers game, right? So we literally got to be able to filter out these girls because, you're going to deal with a lot of girls that you think are your type, and then you get to know them and they're not really your type. You got to go through a lot of bad apples to find a good apple, if you get what I'm saying, right? And again, remember, online dating, you're now in an environment where girls are actively seeking a relationship. They're actually trying to go on dates, whereas cold approach and all that, you have to bet on the fact that they're single. And just because they're single doesn't mean that they like you. And just because they like you doesn't mean that they're going to be attracted to you, because you still have to be smooth. You got to have game. And it's just, there's so many variables that go into it, and online dating eliminates most of those problems. Next, now we need to actually evaluate how many matches are you getting per week and how many of those are actually converting to dates. So like I said, the more matches you're getting, the more numbers you're running, the more volume you have, the more dates you're going to be going. It's a simple math equation. So like the ideal spot you need to be in is ideally getting 50 matches a week. And that doesn't necessarily mean on one dating app, although if you do, that's really, really good. You need to be getting 50 matches a week across multiple dating apps. That'll put you in a position where you can probably go on about 2 to 4 dates per week, maybe more depending how smooth you are and how good your profile is. But ideally, if you're in that position where you're getting 50 matches a week, you should have no problem getting multiple dates a week. So we need to work on getting your match count up so you can run more numbers, spit more game, get some dates lined up. And then lastly, we need to evaluate what kind of girls are you attracting and what kind of girls do you actually want to attract. And I don't just mean on a look scale, although I do want you to think about, physically, what does that girl look like? Ethnicity, race, hair, accent, how does she dress, what does she do for fun, but also just who she is as far as her character. Because, I truly believe you are what you attract. So we need to, curate our look and personality, not in like a fake way, but actually, bettering ourselves so we can attract that kind of woman we actually want in our life. But that's how we're going to audit everything. Next, let's go over the female fantasy framework. So, like I always say, online dating is a looks-based game. So I know that might rub some guys the wrong way, but you have to think about this logically. Like, when a woman is getting approached in real life, she might give that guy her number out of sympathy, right? She might give that guy her number out of sympathy because she doesn't want to deal with the awkwardness of rejecting that man face to face because maybe she's had negative experiences rejecting guys in the past, like they got angry, they got reactive, right? So she'll just give her number to get that guy out of his face. Whereas when a woman's swiping on a dating app, now she's able to sit in the comfort of her own room and actually swipe after what she truly finds attractive, right? So the big reason why a lot of guys struggle with online dating, even if they're good looking, is they just don't understand how women use dating apps. So essentially, like, when women swipe on dating apps, the analogy I always like to give is it's kind of like they're doom scrolling on TikTok. So think about how you use TikTok. Like, you're just swiping through every video, and then all of a sudden you see a video where it's like, here's why you're never going to have a girlfriend, right? Maybe you saw a TikTok of me saying that or something, right? And you stop, you're like, whoa, what is he saying? And it reeled your attention and you keep watching the video, right? We have to create the same effect with our self-image to where when she views our profile, she thinks we're a catch. She feels some type of way. She's like, oh, damn, like, who is that guy, right? Like, it stops the scroll. It gets her attention. So the way we're going to do that is there's 3 elements that actually make a man physically attractive, and it boils down to your physique, your grooming and hygiene, and then lastly, your style. So the way you are going to have a more attractive presence, the most important thing is your physique. Physique is the foundation. So the first thing you need to do is focus on fat loss. You want to ideally be in that 10 to 15% body fat range. You don't need to be shredded to the gills, although the leaner you are, the easier it'll be. So here's the deal. A lot of guys think that they're cursed with bad genetics, and they think that they have, bad facial structure. They don't have an attractive face. But the truth is they've just been living life, overweight, high body fat percentage, and bloated and inflamed their whole life. And what's neat is when you lose weight, obviously your physique gets better, but what you'll also notice is that your facial aesthetics will improve too. Your jawline will become more pronounced. Your cheekbones will hollow out. Your face will actually look more symmetrical, right? So we need to prioritize dropping body fat. So what you want to do is eat in about a 400 to 500 calorie deficit for the next 12 weeks, and that'll put you on pace to lose about a pound a week. And within about 3 months, you're going to look totally unrecognizable. So that's what we're going to do to improve our physique and facial aesthetics. But then also what you need to do is obviously prioritize the muscle groups that make up the aesthetic body. So you want to prioritize your shoulders, your upper chest, your lats, your abs, biceps, neck, and your traps. And that's going to give you what's called the V-taper aesthetic. And essentially what happens is there's studies that actually back this up. When you have the perfect, like they call it the golden ratio, shoulder to waist ratio, women will actually look past any flaws you have. The study specifically mentioned that even if you're short, women will disregard that because you're more attracted to them on like a evolutionary level, that biological attraction that I was talking about earlier. So she completely will disregard the fact that you're short. And it's kind of like, when you see a woman with a nice body, when she has like the hourglass figure, you can't help but look at her, right? Even if her face is like a 5 out of 10, you can't help but look because it's attractive on an evolutionary level. So we need to really focus on getting to a low enough body fat percentage and packing on muscle. That way we're more attractive physically to this girl, because at the end of the day, it's like if you're short, you have to overcompensate for that somehow, right? Because when you're taller, it signals that you can protect her. But when you have a aesthetic body, when you have those perfect shoulder to waist ratios, when you have a good base of muscle on your frame, you're still signaling to that girl that you can protect her, right? So physique is going to be the absolute foundation. Some little bonus tips here and there too to improve your physique. Stick to eating single ingredient whole foods. Eat plenty of eggs, red meat like beef and steak. Eat a lot of rice. You can eat chicken breast, fruits, stuff like that, potatoes. I'd say keep it 90% clean. The other 10%, if you want to eat out or have dessert, that's fine too. But primarily stick to eating single ingredient whole foods and drink plenty of water. This will also, clear up your skin. So your gut is your skin is actually your largest organ. So your skin is going to be how clear and clean it is going to be highly dictated on your diet because it all boils down to your gut health. So again, as you're eating those single ingredient whole foods, your face is going to become more attractive. Your skin's going to clear up, and then you can supplement a skincare routine with that by using moisturizer and maybe like a facial cleanser in the morning and before bed. But then as far as grooming goes, what's really key is you want to find a hairstyle that suits your face shape. So for me, I find that longer hair really suits me, kind of like this curly, messy flow really suits my face shape. I have an oval face shape. And then I pair it with the mustache goatee combo, right? But for you, maybe you have a different face shape. So all you need to do is figure out what kind of haircut and facial hair suits your face shape. You might look good clean shaven. You might look good with a full beard. It just depends. My advice to you is just to go on TikTok and look up haircut for your face shape. There's thousands of videos out there breaking that down. So just do that after watching this video and then start, going to the salon, barber, whatever, grow out your hair, do what you have to do. Lastly, style. So again, we really want to cater our style to the female gaze. And the kind of style women find the most attractive is what I like to call like the old money style. Kind of like how I'm dressed now or how I'm dressed in these photos. Even back here when I wasn't very attractive, I still had like that old money look to me. And it really just boils down to wearing timeless pieces like polos, button downs, sweaters, nice jackets, suits, chinos, dress pants, loafers, that kind of stuff. Because that style, it looks good on everyone, regardless of body type, race, age, or height, and it'll never go out of style, right? But women also just really like that style because it looks sophisticated and it looks more masculine. So I would go for a style like that, and you'll notice, in real life, just walking around in public, girls are going to be checking you out more. In fact, every time I've been approached by a woman, it was because I was dressed nice, right? But you'll also notice as you wear these nice outfits in your photos, it's also going to get you more matches. Like girls will start to comment on like, oh wow, you have like really nice style, right? And now they're starting the conversation with you. But ultimately what you need to understand is we want a mass appealing, universally attractive look, right? You don't want to niche yourself down too much. I'm not against, having like a niche appeal, but before you even consider niching down, you want to make sure you've optimized your look to appeal to all races and ethnicities and types of women. So then you can start to filter it out, right? So for me, I first started with this kind of like, I don't have a photo on here to show you, but like I was clean shaven and just had like a slick back haircut. It was a very mass appealing look, and I was attracting all types of women: Asian, Middle Eastern, Black, Hispanic, white, right? But if you know me, I prefer Latino women. Latin women have always been my type. So I've started to optimize my look more towards that. And because of that, I've noticed an influx of those types of women choosing up on me and noticing me more on dating apps and in public. But make sure you've, optimized your look to cater towards all women before you niche yourself down, right? And then the last thing I want to cover, and this might sound a little redundant, but we want to cater our look to the female gaze, not the male gaze. So a lot of guys, they'll buy clothes or jewelry and stuff that they think looks cool, but, maybe it does look cool to your other guys, but, we want to make sure what we're doing is actually catered to what women find attractive, right? So what will happen is guys will hit the gym, but they'll do a bulk and they get like way too bulky. They're like 20% body fat. And then they'll start to say things like, oh, ever since I hit the gym, I've only gotten noticed by other dudes, and women don't even like muscles. But this just simply is due to the fact that they got too bulky. They weren't lean enough, right? Because I promise you this, once you get lean, you're going to notice the way women are looking at you. It's going to be like something you've never experienced in your life. Or, guys will just get haircuts that they saw on TikTok thinking that it's going to look good on them, but it doesn't actually suit them, right? Little things like that, even what you wear. Like guys will just wear graphic tees or sports jerseys, but again, you have to remember what women find attractive. It's okay to have a little male gaze in there too, but remember, we're trying to attract more women. So we want the cards in our favor, not against us. But that's how we're going to optimize towards the female gaze. That is the female fantasy framework. Now let's go over the online inbound attraction system. So The online inbound attraction system is the dating system I've created over the past 3 years. And essentially, how this works is we're now viewing online dating as a sales process, because that's essentially what it is. If you've ever run like an online business or a company before, you'll really like my whole process behind this. But the way we want to look at it is really like we are the product and the women are the customers, right? So the way we make ourselves a more attractive product is by essentially raising our sexual market value, because dating essentially it is a marketplace. You're competing against other men, right? So the way we do that is, one, by taking care of the first two things I talked about, auditing our whole dating strategy, and then two, curating our self-image to what women find attractive. But then now we're going to actually take nice photos that, really present ourselves in the most attractive way possible so we can start getting better results on these apps. Because here's the deal. This essentially is your dating resume. We're running a marketing campaign, right? And you have to market yourself in the most attractive way possible. Like I said, what a lot of guys do is they just take random photos, that they screenshotted off their mom's Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and just expect girls to flow into their inbox. But that just simply isn't good enough, no matter how good looking you are, right? Your photos need to be on point. And I'll go over exactly how to take these kinds of photos. But as you can see, is once you've actually taken like good photos, girls are going to be messaging you first, liking you, sending you roses, just overall making it really, really easy for you. And even if they're not the ones shooting their shot first, when you message them, they're still going to reciprocate your energy and make things really, really easy for you for the most part. But understand, you've probably heard that the guys in the top 20% are the guys getting all the matches on the dating apps. And the reason they're doing that is, one, they're good looking, but two, they understand that you are competing against everyone else and you have to market yourself in a more attractive way so she sees you as better than any of your competition. So let me break down exactly how we're going to do that. So we need to go over the do's and don'ts, because if I just tell you what to do, yeah, you're going to have a good basis, but you also need to understand what not to do, because when women use dating apps, it's a little different than men. Like I told you, they're doom scrolling on these apps. So when us guys use dating apps, we kind of just swipe on every profile and then we're like, oh, we'll filter her out later, right? When women use dating apps, they're looking for reasons to disqualify us. They're not looking for reasons to qualify us, right? So it's good that you have qualifiers on your profile, but if you have disqualifiers on there too, like things that are going to make her want to swipe no, she's not going to take that risk. She's just going to swipe no on you. So anything that disqualifies us, we need to get it off our profile. So number one, and this isn't really a disqualifier, this is more so just so you don't get banned on dating apps, don't use AI. And I know a lot of guys want to use AI because they're lazy and they don't want to take photos, but you have to overcome your fear of taking photos, because again, this is a picture-based game. And the problem is, if you use AI, you can get banned, and you don't want to run the risk of getting banned on dating apps. So go out, take real photos. And I understand a lot of guys might have embarrassment around taking photos because they're like, oh, like people in public are going to look at me. Or if I post that on my Instagram story, my friends are going to screenshot it and send it in the group chat. You got to get over that fear, because think about it, the guys making fun of you aren't in the position you want to be in. So why do you even care about what they think about? Like, sure, maybe you're in that position where they're all getting girls, but you're not. But you're just trying to better yourself. And the truth is, I was in that position too, where women didn't really find me attractive. My friends used to make fun of me for it. But then once I actually got over the fear of taking photos and started presenting myself better online, I started attracting more women than them. And now they come to me for help. But I'm like, nope, sorry, you made fun of me in the past. You missed your chance, right? So go out, take real photos. Because honestly, if you're like worried about what the other people think, you're never actually going to be in the position you want to be in, because you're letting these people dictate your life. You have to be a little selfish. Understand, it's going to be uncomfortable, but you don't grow in a state of comfort. You grow putting yourself out of your comfort zone. So get out, take some photos. Every opportunity you have, make it a chance to take photos. When you leave your house, wear a nice outfit, get your hair cut, because you never know. When you're out with your friends, that's an opportunity to take photos. When you're out with your family, it's a time to take photos. When you're out networking, that's a time to take photos. Every time you leave your house is now an opportunity to take photos. The next thing, you don't need to pay for a photo shoot. Like I told you, I can't tell you how many guys have DM'd me paying these big time photographers in Miami $2,000, $3,000, and they're still not getting any matches. They're still not getting any dates. It's because the photo shoots thing, it only works for some people. And I guarantee you, if you're watching this video, you're not one of the guys it's going to work out for. I've actually never paid for a dating app photo shoot. I've never done one in my life. All of my photos are taken on my iPhone. I think iPhone photos are the best kind of photos for your dating app profile, because they just look candid. They look more natural, right? if you look at all these photos, they just look kind of like in the moment. And when she's seeing those photos, she can kind of fantasize herself in these photos with me. Essentially what I like to call the movie trailer effect, where, she can see these photos and she can imagine herself on a first date with me, right? Which pre-nurtures her leading up to the date. It builds the rapport, which is why I say you don't need to text these girls for days, if not weeks on end, because your profile already establishes that you're a real and attractive person to where she already wants to go out with you. And when you go out with her, she already feels some type of way about you, right? So the way you do this, if you kind of look at these photos, like, right here, it kind of looks like she's just sitting across the booth with me. And maybe she's at the soccer game with me. She's sitting at this nice restaurant with me. You can do little things like that to where she can imagine herself in the scenario of your photos. Your photos need to tell a story, right? So that leads me to the next point. You don't want to use selfies, old photos from your Snapchat memories or family members' Instagram or Facebooks, and you don't want to take hobby photos. A lot of guys have fallen for I'm going to take pictures of me doing hobbies, playing the piano or golfing, but she doesn't care. Again, like I told you, dating apps are a looks-based game. All you're doing on dating apps is trying to reel these girls in. They'll get to know all about you when you actually go on a date with them. But as far as the dating app goes, it is just to reel her in and to set the date. Again, the date is to actually get to know each other. Because to be real, you can't get to know someone over text. It just that doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way, right? So again, we want to show off our photos. Give a taste of your lifestyle. Not your hobbies, your lifestyle, right? So again, if you look at all my photos, I got a photo of me at a soccer game, 2 photos of me at like nice restaurants, showing off that I like to, go to cool places, kind of giving her a hint of like what I like to do, that I'm, making good money, that kind of thing. Pictures of me traveling, right? Women like to travel. They like to go to nice restaurants. They like to, they like to do fun things. Women want fun, right? So if you can make your profile look fun, she's going to be able to imagine herself, with you, having fun with you, which is going to keep her top of mind. Because I'm telling you, a lot of these guys you're competing against, they don't do this with their profile. She can't picture herself on a date or in a relationship with you. But when you take your photos in this way, it just caters more towards their psychology, to where they feel some type of way about you, right? That's why I get so many likes. That's why I get so many matches and girls messaging me first, because I've catered my profile to what women find attractive on a biological and psychological level. Next, don't smile with your teeth. Now, I know you're probably looking at this photo like, bro, you're smiling with your teeth right there. I can get away with it. But most guys can't. So most of your photos, you want a slight smirk, kind of like I have right here, because again, this is going to add elements of sex appeal to your profile. So another thing is like you need sex appeal on your profile, because again, like this is a looks-based game. Which leads me to the next point, is like you don't want to take douchebag thirst traps. You want to be subtle with it, kind of like I am here. I'm not fully showing off my physique. I'm giving her a teaser of it because, when you do like a full-on thirst trap, it can work depending how you do it. Like maybe if you're like at the beach or the pool, that can work. But what a lot of guys will do is they'll just like take a selfie in the gym locker room showing off their physique. But what you have to understand is that's just not what women want to see. Like maybe some women might like it if she's like a gym girl, but remember, we're trying to cater to all women, right? So you want to be more subtle with it, especially like ones like this where you're not fully showing off your physique. It allows her to like fantasize the rest of your physique. So women like to imagine things, right? So if you've ever read, like, if you know anything about women, they like to read romance novels because they like to imagine themselves in those scenarios and those stories. So that's what we're kind of creating that same effect with our photos. Like I said here, she's imagining herself on these dates with me, or she's just imagining what the rest of my physique looks like, which sparks curiosity, which makes her want to learn more about me, right? So you do this through your photos, right? And then lastly, this should be common sense, but I see this mistake a lot. Guys will take photos with other men that are better looking or even worse, taller than them. Guys, like, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. Like, why in any world would you take a photo with a guy taller than you? Like, if like, women already have like a warped perception of guys' heights when they see photos. So the moment they see a photo of you with a guy who's like 6 foot, she automatically thinks you're like 5'2". Like, you do not want that going on in her head. She's never going to give you a chance. Like, it's immediate ick. Remember, these women use apps, these dating apps, looking for reasons to disqualify you, not qualify you, right? So just stick to just photos of just you. I don't use any group photos on my profile. All my photos are just literally photos of me by myself, and it works phenomenally. Now let's go into phase 4, match conversion. So now you're getting matches rolling into your inbox left and right. Let's go how we're actually going to get these girls on a date. So what you need to understand is texting is only a tool for setting up dates. We're not trying to get to know her. We don't need to chit chat about how was your day? What do you do for work? Da 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 da, all this bullshit. She doesn't care and you don't care, right? That's why you get left on red, because you're taking too long. So what you need to understand is there's two rules to texting dating app matches. Number one, you need to be intentional. You need to be intentional. So think really deeply. I know some of you guys are going to have to think really hard here, but think about it logically. Why are we on dating apps? Why are we texting these girls? Because we want to meet them. We want to go out with them. We want to go on dates. So every text you send is to progress things forward to the meetup, right? You need to be intentional, right? So don't talk about all this random bullshit. But number two, you must move with speed. You have to move fast, because what you have to understand is, like I said, these girls get inundated with a lot of matches, more matches than me. So if you don't move fast enough, you're going to get left behind. And she might have not even left you on red on purpose. You just got lost in the stack of profiles she's matching with. Like, you just got buried in her inbox, right? So you have to move fast. I'm telling you, 5 messages back and forth at most, and you should be able to get this girl's number and go on a date with her. But anyways, I wanted to provide a real-world example of me texting this girl, so you can see exactly how we want to text these girls on dating apps so you can meet them face-to-face. So there's a 4-step framework I follow to texting dating app matches, and I'm going to break this all down for you so it makes more sense. So I saw this chick. She was Brazilian, so I just make an observational comment, and I go, Brazilian and Italian, this sounds like trouble, right? So as you can see, the first principle I have to my texting framework is we want to gauge these girls' temperatures, because newsflash, just because a girl matches with you doesn't mean that she's head over heels for you, doesn't mean that she's in love with you. So we actually need to gauge this girl's interest, because remember what I said earlier, we only want to go after girls that are actually attracted to us, girls that are expressing high interest, because again, the reason you have a negative connotation and perception to dating is because you've always gone after girls that don't really like you like that, right? So we want to make sure this girl's actually interested in us. So I challenge her a bit. I go, this sounds like trouble. And as you can see, she's fallen into my frame. She goes, not going to lie. Matched hoping you know how to handle a Latina. Guess we can both agree it's a dangerous combo. As you can see, she's qualified herself to me. My light cut out. Oh well. Deal with it. You've made it this far in the video. You'll be all right. And anyways, she's qualifying herself to me, right? So from there, I want to confirm her location, because you have to understand, like, the locations on dating apps aren't always accurate. So you want to make sure she actually lives in your area, because she could have been traveling or whatever. So I go, do you live in the Dallas area? And she goes, yeah, I do. I live near this area, right? So I got her location. I've gauged her temperature, right? And then I go, okay, that's not far. I feel like getting to know each other would be more natural in person. So again, I'm still continuing to make herself qualify herself to me. I'm still gauging her temperature, right? I'm going for essentially the soft close. I'm not, saying, hey, let's do this. I'm just kind of hinting like, hey, let's go out sometime. And she's like, I totally agree. And then she sends me some BS. She's like, also, I haven't been checking the messages on this app. Here's my Instagram, right? So she gave me a little shit test. And I go, oh, yeah, I'm not too active on IG. Just shoot me a text and I'll make the plans, right? So another thing I want to bring up is girls might send you their Instagram. Don't follow them on Instagram. It's different if you drop your Instagram, but don't just follow them, because that means they're just looking for, validation and attention. They just want another fan lurking on their stories, liking their posts, swiping up on their stories, right? So, like I said, I flipped the script on here. I make up some lie. I go, oh, I'm not active on IG. Shoot me a text and I'll make the plans. So this is what's really, really key, guys. This is the most important aspect to my texting framework on dating apps, because this is what solidifies the girl is actually into me. If she fails this test, I unmatch with her and I move on. So when I go for the number exchange, I never ask for their number. I always give them my number, right? Because if they can't humble themselves to text me, or if they're like, oh, I don't give my number out, that's my answer. They don't like me. I move on, charge them to the game. But if they text me afterwards, the odds of them flaking on that date after going through this entire framework of qualifying themselves to me, falling into my frame, passing my little test, the odds of them flaking goes down to almost zero. I would say it reduces the flake rate by 95%. And if she does flake on you, chances are it wasn't like a BS thing, something like genuinely came up, like maybe her mom is in the hospital or her dog died or something like that. But that's how you text girls. It's literally that simple. So with all that said, let's put this all together so you can start, taking action and implementing everything I taught you in this video. So number one, Dating, online dating, it just needs to be a streamlined dating funnel so you can consistently and schedule dates on demand. And again, you do that by implementing my 4-step process for Short Guy Game, where essentially we, audit our current dating strategy, we optimize our looks, we package it together with nice photos, and then we have proper text sequences where we can gauge these girls' attraction in us and start setting dates. Number 2, we want to attract better looking and more compatible women so we actually enjoy dating. We're no longer chasing girls that, don't really like us like that. We only want to go after the girls that are expressing high interest so we're not spinning our wheels, wasting money on dates, or hurting our own ego, chasing girls that don't even like us. Because again, remember what I said, it's kind of like sales. The last thing you want to do is chase after girls that don't even really like you in the first place, because that's just going to lower your confidence. And then lastly, the whole goal here is to operate from abundance rather than scarcity. So you are more confident on these dates and you can actually pick and choose who you want to go out with rather than just settling for what you can get. And what's really neat about operating from abundance is, one, like I said, you're no longer going to have to settle, but you're no longer going to have to stress about your dating life, right? Because you always know there's another girl out there that's going to like you, and you can always set a date with her if, things didn't work out with option A. But what's also cool about that is, like, when you go on these dates, these girls are going to be more attracted to you because for the first time ever, your mindset's in a spot of not trying to prove yourself to this girl, not trying to make her like you more, right? She's actually trying to prove herself to you so you like her more, right? How much easier is that when she's trying to prove herself to you? A whole lot easier. But anyways, guys, I also want to get on here and show you that online dating, or really dating in general, wasn't always this easy for me. I know I like to talk big about myself, brag about my wins on here, show you guys the girls I'm going out with, text messages I get, all that. But I used to really, really struggle with dating, man. It just felt like, no matter what I did, women didn't find me attractive. I used to try and cold approach girls and I could just tell by their body language. They were disgusted by me. They didn't want to be around me. They'd give me one-liners, just walking around in public. I felt invisible to women. And just using dating apps, I was kind of stuck in that dating app purgatory that I described at the beginning of this video where, I'd make a Tinder, get a few matches, but they weren't very good looking. So out of frustration, delete the app, try Bumble, delete that, try Hinge, delete that, go back to Tinder, then just end up stooping below my means and trying to message girls that were far less attractive than me, but they still thought they were better than me. Just not getting the results I was looking for and just, slowly destroying my confidence because, even the girls that were less attractive than me didn't want to give me the time of day. And it got so bad. I'm laughing about this, but it's kind of sad to think about. I was typing all these posts on Reddit, venting about all my problems with girls. And my friends actually, funny enough, found these posts. I don't know how, but they did. And they started making fun of me in the group chat, roasting me. And it was just really, really embarrassing. But then, once I dialed everything in, I implemented my Short Guy Game protocols and implemented the 4 phases I went over in this video. I went from, getting flaked on, girls making fun of me because I was short, just not having the dating life I wanted, to girls literally just making it easy for me. This girl found out I was Italian and started messaging me all these Italian romance songs and was telling me add more songs to my playlist, right? And I hadn't even gone out with this girl. When I text girls we're going to go out, they're excited to see me. After I go out with girls, read both of these texts. These girls are thanking me for having such an amazing time and asking when can they see me again. In fact, this girl right here is literally trying to plan a second date with me right after she got in her car when I dropped her off. It just goes to show when you level yourself up as a man and you stop playing the victim and you play with the cards you were dealt and curate an attractive online presentation and have the proper text game in place, dating just becomes a walk in the park. It becomes an afterthought. It's not something you have to stress about anymore. You can focus that energy and mental bandwidth on more important things. Like I said, your career, your business, your hobbies, the gym, friendships, whatever it is, right? You're no longer stressing about how you're going to get your next date. It's just something that kind of automatically happens. And, I just want you guys to know that these systems don't just work for me, but they work for plenty of other people too. So I wanted to provide several examples. Check out Orlando. Before implementing my online inbound attraction systems and Short Guy Game, he was struggling to get matches. He was only getting like 2 matches a week and they were like overweight. He didn't even want to be seen with these girls. And now all of a sudden he's getting bombarded with more girls than he can even take on a date this week. And they're all very attractive. Like you can pause and look at their photos. Like these are good looking girls. And he used to think he didn't stand a chance with those kinds of girls, right? And it was all because he optimized his photos and prompts and text game to actually cater towards what women find attractive. Another example, Sean. Sean's only 5'4", and before coming to me, he was really insecure about his height and his race, and he thought that was like a limiting factor to attracting women because he's Indian. And he actually told me, like, dude, I'm going to move over to Canada so I can finally start dating women. But I told him, no, dude, that's bullshit. Like, you can totally date women in your home country. It's not because of your height and it's not because of your race. You just need to have a more attractive presentation. So he started making some fixes to his mindset and self-belief and then started taking better photos for his dating app. And as you can see, he's now getting like 5 likes a day on Hinge. And he's shorter than me. He's 5'4", and he's crushing it. In fact, he's blowing me out of the water. 5 likes a day. I don't even do that most days. Like I maybe once a month I'll have a day where I get like 5 likes, but he's doing that every single day. Like he's crushing it, which has not only given him more confidence to go out with girls, but now he's also like cold approaching girls. Like he used to be afraid to cold approach, but because of the external validation he's gotten from the women he's matching with and going out with on dates, now he's approaching girls too, which is crazy. And then check out Joseph. So Joseph, started taking the kind of photos and wearing the kind of clothes I was suggesting. And all of a sudden, he was just getting bombarded with so many girls' numbers, right? Like he told me he'd never experienced this level of desire and attraction from women before. They were just making it easy for him. Like he was like, I didn't even know this was possible. And it just goes to show when you cater your profile and your self-image to what women find attractive psychologically and biologically, the ball's now in your court. Dating's now on your terms. She's following your program, and you're no longer chasing these girls because they want to go out with you, and they're going to make it very easy. And if you've made it this far into the video, it's because you're ready to start a new chapter in your life. You're ready to move on to bigger and better things and skyrocket your dating life to new levels that you didn't even know were possible. So if you've liked everything I've gone over so far in this video and you feel like it'd be a good system and very applicable to you and you think you'd get the same kind of results me and the guys I've worked with one-on-one have gotten, I highly encourage you to apply to work with me. Top link in the description of this video, where you can book a call with me and we'll kind of adjust your current dating strategy and come together to see how we can work together one-on-one to actually get you from, not being too satisfied with your dating life to having the dating life you didn't even think was possible for you. Again, if that's something you're interested in, just click the top link in the description of this video, shoot me a DM on Instagram, let me know that you booked, and we'll go from there. But that's it for this video, boys. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you boys in the next video.